discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You hiding corruption inside the cup, look how we even set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clouds. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Baratans too. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how we even set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up on the unemployment racism and the lie they say one Guyana. Cause when you look with the oil money going, circulate with one set of banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root.
Right, hey, good night. Welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Benshop, and we are ready to rock and roll right here on 107.1 FM. Those of you who have already shared the link, thank you so much, and spread the word that we are live right now, and lots of things we want to talk about, and lots of things we will be chatting with the Congresswoman, the Honorable Yvette Clarke. She will be with us tonight. So have your popcorn out, and if you have any question or questions, I will be watching some of your comments in the comment section as well. And you might be lucky that I'll pose your question, or maybe two questions, to the Congresswoman. You know, she doesn't shy away from any question or questions at all, any topic. That's why she is one of our favorites. Congresswoman, elected official, and you know, at the end of the day, we call her our Caribbean queen, our Caribbean representative. Yvette Clarke, the Honorable Congresswoman, will join us shortly. So what's happening? What's happening in your neck of the woods, right? Lots of things happening. Let me just say good night to all of you in case I miss your names. Don't get upset. Don't go into your cars or your trucks and do a live. and saying that Ben Job didn't mention your name. But good night again and welcome to Straight Up. My name is Mark Ben Job. No, we're not playing cards. We just don't do that here. We don't telegraph our shots. We get straight to the point, as we are going to do as we prepare to welcome in just maybe a few minutes or so the Honorable Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. As you guys heard already, this fire at Critchlow Labor College out in Guyana. Sorry that I say Guyana. Historic Critchlow Labor College ravaged by fire. Lots and lots of fires in Guyana. What is happening there? Lots and lots of fires. And speaking of fire, well, we'll get to that just in a minute or so. Let us say a prayer for the Guyana Trades Union Congress, the General Secretary, and all of the members of the GTUC and the board of Critchlow Labor College. We just have to watch them rebuild this college, this historic college out in Guyana, Critchlow Labor College, named after, let me see, any one of you. Well, we know Nature Boy dropped out of nursery school, so we wouldn't be able to get any response from him with regards to who this college was named after. All right, again, good evening to all of you. If you had a wonderful, assuming that you had a wonderful weekend, right? All right, good to have all of you back again. What else is happening that we can quickly discuss before the Honorable Congresswoman Yvette Clarke joins us? Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't know what is up with our operator tonight, but we shouldn't really be showing this. We're not, it reminds me, that photo, honestly, reminds me of when I first saw that movie, Nightmare on Elm Street with Freddy Krueger. For a moment, I just thought, for a moment, that is, and we're not here to discuss that. Irrelevant things we just do not discuss. We have lots and lots of things, and I just can't not wait at all. I just cannot wait to ask, to start right off the bat, to get the questions to the Honorable Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. And I've noticed a lot of you got it correct. Surprisingly, the one who dropped out of nursery school also got it correct. You can tell he did a lot of cheating in class. He didn't know that. We know. Keith Tom and others. Yes, Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow. Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow. Heather Westmus Waldron got it correct as well. We have sweetie for you guys, as we say in the Caribbean, as we say in Guyana, sweetie. All right. I want to ask the Congresswoman when she joins us. And of course, you know, she has visited Guyana before. She has gone. She has done a lot of traveling. That is because, guess what? Yvette Clarke, the Congresswoman, that is, she cares about not just her constituency, but members of her constituency, but she cares about the Caribbean. She cares about people around the world. That is why she has been elected and re-elected. And people just love the sort of representation. And we got to give her kudos. You know, I don't just, as we say in Guyana and other parts of the Caribbean, I don't just pick people up just like that. But I honestly do believe that she should be getting lots and lots of kudos because she fights for you guys, not just in the district of which she represents, and she has been re-elected to do that, but by extension outside of that district. As you know, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke has been elected, chairwoman of the Congressional Black Caucus. And I want to ask her as soon as she gets here, her operator just signaled to me and say, guess what? The Congresswoman will be on with us in just about 30 seconds or so. 30 seconds. She probably went to the fridge to grab a glass of Mobby. I have to ask her if she knows Mobby. But let's prepare to welcome our own Congresswoman Yvette Clarke right here on 107.1 FM. Good night to you, Honorable Congresswoman. How are you?
Good night to you, Mark. It's great to be back with you once again. And of course, I know what Mobby is. Of course, I know what Mobby is.
I was just about to ask you, when last you had some Mobby? Please tell us.
It's been a while. I prefer ginger beer and sorrel to Marby. That I can't take the bitterness.
Ginger beer and Mobby indeed. Glad to have you back again with us, and glad that you know Mobby. That you've been having some Mobby. Congresswoman, let's begin right off the bat. I know you have worked tirelessly for many years to ensure that this become a reality. And so President Joe Biden has posthumously pardoned civil rights leader Marcus Garvey, who was convicted of mail fraud over 100 years ago. How important is this, not just to you, but to all of us as Caribbean people and people around the world?
Well, I think it was an extraordinary step taken by U.S. president to essentially, declare that so much of what drove the conviction of Marcus Garvey by J. Edgar Hoover was predicated on, a discriminatory witch hunt because of the notoriety and the work that was being done by Marcus Garvey to unite people of African descent across this country and around the world. That recognition in 2024 was a resounding message sent around the world. And it was one step. I firmly believe that the Congress has a responsibility going forward to exonerate Marcus Garvey, who was indeed the victim of J. Edgar Hoover's witch hunt, certainly driven by racism and discrimination that led him to, to go after Marcus Garvey, to defame him, and ultimately to convict him on bogus charges in order to rid the nation of a movement. What I call the predecessor or the pre-civil rights movement that Marcus Garvey singularly established right here in the United States, but was spreading throughout the Caribbean and around the world with the Universal Negro Improvement Association and, of course, the Black Star Line. So I was really pleased that in his closing days of his administration, President Joe Biden did the right thing. And I know for the immediate family members of Marcus Garvey, this was an act that was long overdue for many years, decades. My colleagues in the Congressional Black Caucus, my predecessors, were working uh, to through legislative means exonerate Marcus Garvey, and we too will continue to introduce legislation, and when the congressional configuration is right, I believe that ultimately we will pass the exoneration of Marcus Garvey.
Well said, Honorable Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. And for those of you who are now joining us, welcome to Straight Up. Let's get into some more questions. And for those of you in the comment section, I noticed some of your comments. Congresswoman, they are saying in the comment section that they have never seen so many Clarks signed in to watch the program tonight. And they're wondering. So our next question is, and let me just first of all congratulate you. I know this is the first time since you have been elected as chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Congratulations to you. Let's talk about achievements thus far. You're welcome. Achievements thus far.
Well, let me say that, we have been inundated with the Trump, Musk, onslaught on the American people, our communities being at the center of all of the horrendous executive orders that this administration has issued, that Donald Trump has issued, and this administration has begun to implement. 1 in 5 employees of the federal government are people of African descent. When you talk about mass deportations, certainly a significant portion of those who are targeted for deportation are people of African descent. When your first executive order is to deny people born in the United States birthright citizenship, we have been like drinking from a fire hose. But the great thing is that the Congressional Black Caucus is now 60 members strong. We were 62 strong at the beginning of this Congress, but unfortunately have seen two of our members pass away just within the last few couple of months. But we are still the largest Congressional Black Caucus in the history of the Congress, and having four U.S. senators serving for the first time, who are members of the Congressional Black Caucus for the first time in history, two Black women serving in the United States Senate. And we recognize that our unity is our strength. And there have been a number of horrendous pieces of legislation that have moved through the Congress, most notably the recent bill, the recent spending bill, or what we call continuing resolution, that cuts even further into the federal enterprise and provides Elon Musk and Donald Trump the space in the room to continue to deconstruct the federal government, to cut programs and funding resources to our communities. And the Congressional Black Caucus were united and unanimously voted against it. I think that that show of strength and unity in the face of all of this adversity has just been one of our victories. We are approaching what we are up against and our communities are up against in the opposition to this administration. We are focused singularly on continuing to fight the battle for diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are committed to, through every means possible, starting with legislative in the Congress to adjudicative in the courts, and getting into our communities to educate and inform our constituents of the horrors of the implementation of Project 2025, which is what we are seeing going into effect. So a lot of our work is in-house, but it's also getting into our communities, hosting town hall meetings, doing a nationwide bus tour. We are gearing up so that our people are empowered to resist in this moment. We cannot be complacent. We cannot be fearful. We have to move full speed ahead in unity to protect our interests as stakeholders of this nation.
Absolutely, to protect our interests as stakeholders, and I guess that a lot of folks who are watching right now, listening right now, would agree with you 100%. Some may say that the Congress currently, the Democrats do not have a majority. Hopefully, that can be changed in the midterms. But what are some
Absolutely.
of the hurdles, if at all, you guys are faced with currently in
Well,
Congress?
I mean, that's just that we aren't in the majority, but the majority is very small in the House of Representatives. In other words, the Republican Party, uh, it, they only have a three-vote advantage over the Democrats in the House. And so some of the most egregious of the uh, pieces of legislation that they'd like to bring to law, um, it's very difficult for them to pass because there are members, though it's rare that we see them stand up, that oppose it. And all we need are three Republicans to stand down and vote with Democrats, and measures, the most heinous of measures, cannot pass. in the United States House of Representatives. We just need 3. And so, part of our campaign is a "We Just Need 3" campaign. There are many Caribbean people of goodwill across this nation that live in Republican districts, and they need to lock arms with us in the pushback, in the resistance to this onslaught of racist, discriminatory behavior and activity that is taking place in the federal government under the leadership of Donald Trump in this moment. And so those who are represented by Republicans need to use their voices in this moment. We are not powerless to stop the most egregious of things from happening. We need to be mobilizing, and we can't have amnesia. We have to remember that this man moved swiftly to, move people out of the jobs that they've held, some for decades now, some newly hired in the federal government, and the hardship of placing tariffs on goods that are coming from around the world, so that at the end of the day, the benefits will go to the wealthiest 1% of our nation. We have to use our voices because we pay taxes. And when you have a tax cut, that means that these individuals get to cash in uh, for things that they really just don't even need. When we're talking about extreme wealth and greed here, but we know that they are needy in our communities. So when there's a cut to the supplemental nutrition assistance program, also known as SNAP, or as some may commonly call it in our communities, the cutting of food stamps to families, struggling families, that means that children will go malnourished in our communities, so that these folks who have far more wealth than they and their descendants will ever uh, be able to utilize in totality. We have to stand up and do something about that. When we see tariffs being placed on the goods and services that we need to utilize each and every day, we know that that's going to hit our small businesses hard, that have to pass on that additional cost to their customers, their consumers. And we as consumers will then have to pay um, just to survive. And so we're in a crucial moment in the development of our civil society. And we have to make a determination in a nation of the people, by the people, and for the people. Will the people stand up in this moment and fight alongside us so that we can get the victory and move our nation into a 21st century posture that respects our humanity, respects the humanity of those who come to our shore seeking their American dream, supports public education. Let's talk about the fact that they want to deconstruct the Department of Education that has been so crucial in the education of Black folks in the United States of America, whether you were born in the U.S. or you came here as a child or as a foreign student. All of these institutions that have been built over time were uh, built because there was an extreme need in this nation for so long, particularly people of African descent were denied access to a quality education, were denied opportunities to work in our federal government, to be in the U.S. military. And now you see a backlash taking place of a bunch of folks who are racially motivated in how they're approaching governance in this country, and who are white supremacists in ideology. And we can't live with that. We can't abide with that. We have to fight.
Have to fight indeed. Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, the Congress is a slim majority held by the Republicans. Next year is midterm. How prepared, and do you guys have a strategy in the Democratic Party to regain control of Congress? And what does it mean by regaining control of Congress to
Well, let
stop
me say
the many abuses under the Trump administration? Sorry, go ahead.
absolutely. So, what is significant about our system of governance here is that we have three co-equal branches of government. And right now, you have the House and the Senate, which is the legislative branch. And in both the House and the U.S. Senate, the Republicans are in the majority. In the House of Representatives, as you've reiterated, they have a very small majority. All laws and budgetary matters originate in the House of Representatives. If and when we are successful in the midterm elections coming up next year in making Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House, we will be able to end this egregious overreach that is taking place under the Trump administration, because indeed they will be forced to negotiate with Democrats in order to move any legislation that has an impact, that will have a lasting effect, moving his executive orders into law. We would be able to, in effect, put an end to that. And so that's why the midterm elections are so very important. We are focused on a number of things simultaneously. And I want to remind your viewers and your listeners that uh, we're only 60 odd days into this session. Donald Trump was sworn in on January 20th. The congressional members were sworn in on January 3rd. We are just finished with 1/4 of the year, and all of this mayhem has broken out. And so we've got a ways to go in terms of doing the work that we do internally here in Washington, D.C., to stop the most egregious of things from happening, in blocking legislative measures, in uh, signing on to amicus briefs that have been that are currently before the courts. We have over 100 lawsuits challenging the executive orders of Donald Trump in court as we speak. And then we have to also make sure that we are speaking to the people of our communities, making sure that they're not consuming propaganda and voting or not voting at all, that as which is against their interest. We have to demonstrate to our people. We have to make it plain once again why their power is in their vote, and that they not voting means that you're essentially giving your adversary the power to rule you, or voting for them is cutting off your nose to spite your face.
With regards to regaining control of Congress by the midterm next year, people are wondering what will happen in the interim, because we see a blatant attempt to disregard or not to have any respect for checks and balances. Judges are being attacked. Human rights activists are being attacked. Politicians, Democratic politicians, are being attacked, and all manner of things by even billionaires or trillionaires who threaten to go after politicians. How dangerous, Congresswoman? How dangerous is that for democracy and for
Yeah,
the respect of people's constitutional rights?
yeah. These are very perilous times. They're unprecedented. We've never ever seen anyone, that blatantly disregards the rule of law like Donald Trump has. And so, we have to get into the streets. We have to disrupt what is taking place, peacefully and non-violently, in the spirit of what Dr. King and the civil rights movement has taught us. so that we can come through with the victory in the next 16 months. I want to encourage your viewers, those who are listening to your program, to organize within their own communities. We have to make sure that we are distilling the truth of the matter to our folks. We cannot allow the narratives that were, put out through propaganda, positions on social media, in various uh, other mediums to prevail in terms of what is factually the truth about what the Donald Trump administration is all about. They really made it plain to us, and I don't understand why uh, you know folks did not take him at his word. He said he was going to be the retribution. He said that he was going to do mass deportation. He denied that Project 2025 was something that he was aware of. But everyone that he has put into his administration, many of the individuals in his administration are either authors of significant portions of the white supremacist manifesto known as Project 2025, or they're in the process of trying to implement that right now. And what stands between full implementation of Project 2025 is the ability to litigate right from wrong in our courts, our ability to not participate in advancing this legislation on the floor of the House. As I stated, the CBC has been unified, which is the largest caucus of members in the Democratic Party, in resistance to this administration. None of us voted for the measure that recently passed that gave Donald Trump the ability to manipulate the federal budget. And we will continue to stand against that. And I believe it's important that our people get factual information. And when you hear something out there, that you do your own fact checking, that you make sure that you are not part of purveying propaganda that essentially is meant to harm and destroy communities like the one that I represent in Central Brooklyn, the Ninth Congressional District.
Speaking of your district, your constituents, um, what are some of the concerns? Because I've been hearing that a lot of people are worried, especially those, some of whom are undocumented. They may have petitions in, but folks are being rounded up even without due process. How concerned are members within your district about this situation? And what is it that your office can do to assist them
It is.
or
It
have
is.
been doing? Go ahead.
Our folks are extremely concerned, and they ought to be. This is a perilous time for immigrants. Period. Full stop. You don't have to be undocumented to be targeted by this administration. We're seeing permanent residents being picked up for small infractions that may have taken place, or no infraction whatsoever. They're not afforded the same constitutional rights that citizens have in the United States of America. So even speaking out in protest can put a target on your back. We are in perilous times, and I'm not sugarcoating it for anyone. We have been advising uh, folks to know their rights, so that if they're approached by ICE, they know how to conduct themselves, what they are required to do or not required to do in interacting or interfacing or not interacting at all with agents that may show up in any given space at any given time. It doesn't have to be your home. It could be your office. It could be your religious institution. It could be a healthcare facility. We are in perilous times. And so we are trying to make sure that we are spreading the rights that people have irrespective of status, to be uh, defiant in this moment and not, uh, um, go along to get along, because that could mean that our folks disappeared into deportation holding facilities in the United States and across the United States of America. There's an industry that has popped up. There was always the private prison industry, and now there are more and more facilities that are being contracted out to hold individuals until they are able to be deported. So we can't become a part of that industry. And those of us that are citizens of the United States have to stand up in this moment to protect the more vulnerable of us in the community, those who may be permanent residents, those who may be undocumented, those who may be in between status, those who may be here on visas, student visas and work visas, because now there are targets on these individuals and they can be exploited as a result of what Donald Trump is doing. Can you imagine working for an employer who says, well, I'm not going to pay you for this month's work, and if you have anything to say about that, I will call immigration. Now people are being put into a really bad situation because they're vulnerable to a horrific, um, homeland security situation perpetrated by Donald Trump and and his secretaries. So we've got a lot of work to do as a community to protect one another. We need to be very conscious of those amongst us in our community. And I've met with federal workers that were dismissed uh, through Elon Musk's Doge, whatever that is, authority that he's been given. In certain circumstances across the nation, you have two family members, a husband and a wife, both working for the federal government, both let go under Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And now you have families who are trying to get their children through school, trying to pay off their mortgages, trying to keep a roof over their head and food on the table, and they're unemployed in this moment through no fault of their own. This is the madness that we've all been thrown into, and we have to resist. We have to fight. We have to win the fight and bring home the victory for our children and grandchildren.
Our fighter in fighting spirit in our Congresswoman Yvette Diane Clarke with us this evening. I saw recently, and I want to get back before we wrap up on the question of immigration. And as you know, there are activists and there are others who are being held for God in heaven knows what. But before we get back to immigration, I watched for maybe a half hour or so town hall meeting, which was really, really great. Congratulations to you and your staff in holding that. But
We had over
the people in your
16,000. Yeah, we had over 16,000 residents of the Ninth District on that town hall. We plan to do many more of them throughout the district.
congratulations on that. And when I saw that 16,000 within your district, I'm like, you're on to something. But will you be holding any in-person town hall meeting?
We will.
I'm sure
We will.
folks would love. Yep.
Yes, we will.
So let's get back. Sorry, thank you. Thank you. And we're glad. And whenever you do, we will carry it right here on 107.1 FM. Congresswoman, I know you've had a busy day, but I want to get back to immigration again. Representative Omar, and of course yourself, sung the alarm on injustice faced by Black immigrants. We're hearing lots and lots of sad stories. And one of the things that I've heard, which is really, really sad, is that persons who have an opinion that doesn't favor President Donald Trump have been subjected to threats of deportation. Again, how dangerous is that?
It's extremely dangerous. I mean, we have to bear in mind that there were individuals who sold all of their worldly goods, who were victims of civil war, civil unrest, uh, in some cases famine, all manner of humanitarian crisis that took the journey to try to get to our shores, where for generations now we have accepted people through an asylum process, through a refugee programs, through temporary protected status, and other, again, humanitarian paroles. Uh, this has been the tradition of the United States for generations now. It has always been a challenge for people of African descent because of the original sin in the creation of this nation. But over the past few decades, I would say since the passing of the Civil Rights Act, more and more Black immigrants have been granted the ability to come to the United States, to adjust their status, to become residents and then citizens of the United States. With this administration, they have made it clear that first of all, your skin color will determine the way that you are treated in society under their administration. And this particular administration has a whole host of individuals who uh, espouse white supremacist ideology. You know, they've gone after college campuses, they've gone to the courts over what they call reverse racism. They've created all manner of obstacle to the advancement of people of African descent. And so it does not surprise me that that would also be transferred into the realm of immigration, because our skin color has always been a declarative statement of who we are in this country. And so if you've come to the United States from Haiti, if you've come to the United States from Senegal, if you've come to the United States from Guyana, if you've come to the United States from Jamaica, if you've come to the United States from Panama, if you've come to the United States from Costa Rica or Guatemala, and you are of African descent, you will be targeted, notwithstanding the law abiding nature, the contributions that you've made, because racism is a major driver of what we are experiencing right now.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. And for those of you who have just joined us, I've noticed some of you don't want us to go, and I've noticed I've been reading a lot of your comments indeed. But the Congresswoman has had a very busy schedule, but you know, she doesn't shy away from giving us an extra few minutes or so. And so thank you so much, Congresswoman. It leads me now to birthright. Why the haste, this administration going after birthright citizenship? Why and what's wrong with that?
Well, first of all, a birthright citizenship is baked into our Constitution under the 14th Amendment. Birthright citizenship was adjudicated because there was a point in time in the development of the United States of America where the debate was whether enslaved Africans would be given citizenship in the United States of America. And it was determined through the 14th Amendment that indeed we anyone born on the soil of the United States of America would be automatically granted citizenship. And so again, we're dealing with a group of people who are bigots. You know, they have a baked in hatred for anyone outside of their own sort of racial um affinity group, for lack of a better term. And we are all now seeing how this can play out when you get the wrong person in office. and that person has the ideology to dismantle all of the progress that has been made in you know living out to the creed of this nation, which is basically one nation under God, out of many, out of many one. And diversity has always been our strength. It wasn't acknowledged because there was an exploitive, abusive, barbaric relationship between those who kidnapped Africans to work um, uh, for them, uh, without any compensation for generations, for centuries in the United States of America. And, there are those who had continued to carry the belief that uh, if you're of African descent, that you can't possibly be American. And so that's what we're dealing with right now. And we got to fight back. We are just as American as anyone else. And we strive to become American through our contributions, through our intellect, our abilities, through building communities, and, through our service to this nation on every single level. And we will continue to fight, and we will win. We will be victorious.
Thank you so much. We will continue to fight. We will win. We will be victorious. As Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, say, keep hope alive. Quickly before we go, have you guys been receiving reports about human rights violations in detention centers for those who they
Absolutely.
deem deportable?
That has always been the case. We have violations in our prisons right now. The New York State prison system was recently upended. So I don't expect that behind closed doors, individuals who they have not even been keeping track of. And if people can remember when Donald Trump was in office the first time, and there was a migrant surge coming through Central and South America across the southern border, how they stripped people of their children, put the children in cages, had them sleeping on the ground, the most inhumane treatment of human beings that we've ever witnessed. And I just could not imagine that, having witnessed that, which was painful. It was painful to see human beings being treated that way, that people would still go back out to vote for this man. It was so disturbing. And so I can imagine what is taking place right now. First of all, when you defy a court decree to bring planes back to the United States, and when you deport individuals from one nation to a nation that they don't even reside, that they're not even nationals of. I mean, there are all manners of lawlessness taking place right now in the Trump administration. We have got to make sure that we are clear-eyed and focused on getting this administration out of office and stopping using every measure we can right now to stop the Congress, who in many respects, particularly the Republican Party, have given their power over to the executive branch. Democrats are the loyal opposition right now. That at the end of the day, we have almost collapsed into um, uh, uh, a parliamentary system of governance, because the Republican Party has acquiesced its power over to Donald Trump. Well, as my mother would say, "Nut nagosa." We are in this battle till we win.
That's correct. Not Nagosa. I could just imagine your mom saying that. Give her my regards as well. But before we go, though, I suppose that there's a member within your constituency who have had numerous complaints against alleged attacks, political attacks by the government of Guyana. Currently, Miss Atwell is being um, sorry, she's currently at the Richwood Correctional Center on an allegation of immigration infraction. We are yet to hear what that quote unquote infraction is. She is fearful that upon her return to Guyana, she will be persecuted and possibly killed. What's your take, if at all, you have heard about this matter? Please,
I
Miss.
have I have heard about this matter. As a matter of fact, I had the honor of meeting this young woman, and this is a travesty. There's no doubt in my mind that it is a travesty. And again, you know, we have to understand that the folks who are protesting and speaking out in our nation are real patriots. Is they're speaking truth to power. Protest is baked into who we are as a country. As a matter of fact, those founders of this nation were protesting the British government, and that's how they ended up coming here to the United States as colonists. you know, and so, again, when we're talking about anyone who is not of European descent, you are subjected to the uh, persecution and prosecution, the hatred, the bigotry of the white supremacists that are consider themselves to be a ruling class. We have got to make sure that going forward, there are many more of us who understand right from wrong. There are many more of us who recognize that we cannot uh, give this nation over after all that we have invested to, these individuals who have no moral compass and who, quite frankly, are extremely dangerous, not only to us here in the US, but on the global stage. And many lives are being disrupted and are being imperiled by the actions taken by this administration. And so again, we have to stand together. I am so sorry that this sister is in this situation, in these circumstances. One of the things that we have to do is protect those amongst us whose status is uncertain, or whose status is has not been finalized in the United States. And we have to be their voices, because clearly they are being targeted by this administration for persecution. And the only way that we can protect our freedom fighters is by making sure that we stand in the gap for them.
Making sure that we stand in the gap for them. Thank you so much, Honorable Congresswoman. I know I told your scheduler just 10 minutes of her time, and I can just assume you say, no, Mark is not going to have me for 10 minutes. And so we're glad that we've had you for almost 40 minutes of your time. The next time you have a town hall in your district, please let us know. We will carry it live right here on 107.1 FM. Your closing remarks, please, for now, Congresswoman.
Absolutely. And let me again thank you, Mark, for having me on your program once again. To your listeners and your viewers, I say, we come from very strong stock. How do I know this? Because tens of millions, maybe even more, were stripped away from the continent of Africa and put into a brutal Middle Passage and slave trade. We are descendant. We are the survivors. We are the thrivers who come from that horrible experience. And we have come through with our talent, our skill, and our expertise, our self image intact. We need to pull on the strength of those who came before us, who survived the Middle Passage, who survived Jim Crow, who survived, colonization and all manner of dehumanization, to commandeer uh, our victory in the United States of America. It will be all of us coming together. It will be all of us standing up and doing what we know we can do to protect one another, to start shopping locally at our local Black businesses, to being discerning about who is working in our best interest and how we use our finances to determine our own destiny, and where we have opportunities that we can provide them to those in our communities who may have been victims of this cruelty coming out of Washington, D.C. And maybe we can employ them. Maybe we can help them start a business. Maybe we can help a family that is struggling to put meals on the table so that their children can be nourished. Maybe we can speak out about the need to protect public education. There's a lot of work to be done in this moment. This is not a moment, this is a movement, and we all need to be engaged in it in the same way that our ancestors sacrificed everything so that we would live in a society that acknowledged all that we have to offer, and that we would not just survive, we would thrive. And that's the focus. That's the goal. That's what we all must be focused on and united around. Let us come through this horrible experience on the other side victorious, with a society that is reflective of who we are and all that we contribute to making America great.
Well said, Honorable Congresswoman. And we end on this note. Savern Garvey is saying, thank you for being a sound voice in our community. Lots and lots of thank yous, lots and lots of appreciation for what you have done and what you continue to do for not only the Guyanese community, but the Caribbean community at large. Thank you so much, Madam Congresswoman. I noticed a comment also saying thank you for standing up also and having a voice, expressing your views on the Melly Mel situation as well. Because I was at that meeting when she met with you and voiced her concern about a lot of problems and persecution meted out to her, especially back in Guyana by those folks. Thank you so much for all that you do, Congresswoman. And these are just some of the comments out there. But do not be a stranger. We are going to be tracking you down in those town hall meetings, those large crowds that you've been getting, 16,000+. Wow. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Mark. And as my mother would say, one love to everyone, bless up and walk good.
Bless up and walk good. Thank you so much indeed. You bless up and you walk good as always, Madam Congresswoman. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You
Bye-bye.
Too. Bye-bye. All right, the Honorable Congresswoman there, Yvette Clarke. Yvette Clarke, our favorite. Well, one of just a few that we have, our favorites, representing Caribbean interest and by extension, American interest and people's interest. And we've got to love and appreciate her, a fighting spirit she has. And for those of you who are in her district, whenever there's a town hall meeting again, whether it's virtual or in person, we will carry it right here on 107.1 FM. And you should attend those meetings as well. Any problems you have within your district, her district, that is, if you are in her district, contact her office and talk to her folks and see what best can come out of that situation. All right, we will be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. I'm out of here, and continue to pray for those who are being persecuted, continue to pray for those who are incarcerated unjustly, and continue to pray for Melly Mel and others. And for those of you who are celebrating your birthday today, you know we always wish you all the best. Crummy Wing and others, we wish you all the best. God bless all of you. Until tomorrow, same place, same time. Let's continue to keep hope alive. Again, let's continue to keep hope alive. God bless you all. So long.
Yeah, my name is Jacinty Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
There and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship?
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea.
I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. Can't take it no more. Imagine 18 hours of blackout, and you're telling people progress. Cost of living gone up 100%, yet you give public servant less. Mr. President, listen to the people. Search your soul and you will confess. And while you try surviving on the public base, then you're gonna know but stress. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. They don't drive no fear with the citizen. They may want the people speak out. Freedom of speech done gone inside the gutter. Knock off when you open your mouth. Discrimination in entertainment, and you're talking about one Guyana. When the Ministry of Culture keep the big shows, one set of girls and banner. Cause I done fed up, you done fed up, he done fed up, she done fed up, we done fed up, the people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup, look how evil set up. The people fed up. Every picture you take and promise you make, everything you do is about clout. Then you come into me for I shake your hand, there's nothing to smile about. Corruption inside every sector, but when it comes to them they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue, cause I done fed up, you done